Hi Piyush, how you doing?
Good morning, Julian. I am well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Today, Friday, June the 5th, we're going to do our usual market stat and mortgage rate forecast review with some crunchy info. I'm trying to add some entertaining fact about the real estate as well as keeping it informative. So today we are actually looking at flyover of the beautiful city of Hong Kong, where I am dying to go. I really would like to go. Have you ever been to Hong Kong, Piyush?
I had,
You did?
yeah, I had a stopover. It was 8 hours, so I just got those visas and then just popped out.
Nice, nice. I'm sure it was hectic, like
It was honestly the energy in that city is amazing.
very cool. All right. So perfect transition. We're going to look at the behavior of real estate out there. All right. So Hong Kong has been correlated to Vancouver real estate for a decade or
Okay.
so. And it's been a shift in the dynamic in February. So ultimately, they went from basically similar situation than us, 2021, actually a bit earlier than us. September 2021 was their peak. Then they bottomed out ultimately. So 28% correction, and for the last 3 months, they're actually trending higher. So something to monitor and to see to what extent it will translate in our market in the months to come. Did you know that Hong Kong real estate market was trading higher for the last 3 months, Piyush?
No, didn't know that.
There you go. There you go. Trying to provide the information you don't find anywhere else, and we'll tell you first. Very good. So another piece. Okay, so now you have a crunchy one.
Okay.
Okay. I call it the drama saga Netflix grand finale of one particular listing that I've been monitoring for the longest time. Not only monitoring, I got involved in that listing. So then I kept it on the radar. And that listing is a penthouse in Cole Harbour. Okay, so
Ooh.
here's some backstory. We're going to review the price evolution and the journey of that particular seller, okay, till today, because something happened. So as we can see on the screen, that property first hit the market in 2021 for 7.250, okay, 7,250,000. All right,
Peak of the market.
peak of the market. This particular type of property was ultimately fragile type of property in the 2015-16 price burst. Foreign buyer, they were, it would have been perfect property, and the price peaked then for this type of property. Okay,
Mhm.
so a couple of years after that, they start to put the property on the market, 7.25, and then stays on the market. They priced a bit higher than what it should have been. Okay, because it's seller's psychology.
Mhm.
Coming from like a strong uh, basically position. You have a good that is very very nice, and you don't want to let it go, and you want a buyer that is motivated. Okay, so you price yourself kind of higher. You want to make the best of it, and then time goes by. So that was, and then they reduced it. Okay, significant price reduction in September. Reduce it to 658. All right, doesn't sell, doesn't sell, and then we make it to April 2022. They are hopeful, and they relist it for 6888. Then time goes by, doesn't sell. Okay, so now we're in 2023, February. Keep in mind we started at 725, and now we are at 5888. Is it going to sell, Piyush? It's not selling because it's still surfing above the fair market value of what what a educated buyer and their agent would buy it for. So then,
especially not in 2023 when the government, the Bank of Canada started raising interest rates. There's no way that anyone's picking that up for that much.
well, it's we haven't reviewed the property yet, but it's I'm just showing the journey. And then 2024 price reduction from 588 to 5588. Okay, then we make it to July 2025. Still doesn't sell. Now September 2025, we are now 5288. Still doesn't sell. Now 2026, 5288. March 2026, new list price below 5 million. And guess what, Piyush? This property is now sold.
Congrats, Julian. This was your listing.
Goodness. Sorry?
This was your listing.
No. It was not my listing. Like this particular seller went through multiple listing agent. It was a type of property. I was like, I was to some extent, I was thinking this guy is not really selling, because look, I mean, like we've been, since 2021, we're 5 years later.
Let's do the math. So 7,250, and then it sold for what? How much? 4?
I cannot say the sold price because it's still pending. So I can tell you privately, but I cannot tell publicly. Sorry? Huh? I cannot tell publicly. I can tell you it's a real estate rule from the board that we cannot disclose sold prices until the property completes, meaning
I understand. What's the listing price? 4 million?
So it was make it 5. Make it 5.
That's a $2.2 million drop.
And now it's pending, and I can't disclose as per real estate board rule until it completes. I know the sold price, I can tell you, but privately, if you want to know the price, reach out, send me a text, I'll tell you the price.
Mm-hmm. So let's assume, because even in this, people are bargaining, right? It's a buyer's market. And having known the history, they, I would assume they would got it a little bit less than what the asking is. So even if you do the,
No.
Okay, so don't give it away.
No, I won't give it away. But
you can't tell, but now you started dropping hints. So maybe okay, hold on. So you dropped a little bit of hint earlier that the Hong Kong market and the Vancouver market, and then Hong Kong market's been going up. So are you going? Is that
no? It's sold below asking.
Below asking. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So it went below asking.
Yeah.
So even if I take the purchase price in 2021, 7.25, and then the listing price 4,988, that's a $2.2 million drop in value.
Yeah.
That is. Okay, so now if I go $2.2 million divided by 725.
What are you doing, number man?
That's a 31% drop.
Yeah. But you see, this is a perfect example, and I keep this as my question to you is, in 2021, if you price the property accurately, let's say at 6.5, right? 6.5, even, or 6. Do you think you would have sold?
I have no idea. 2022, 21 was peak.
The answer is yes.
Then how come it didn't sell?
Because they always surf above the market. The market was correcting, and they were correcting, but still above of what that property fair market value, or what a buyer could be buying it for, was still surfing above. So long story short, this particular seller could have made a lot more money on the sale if he would have kind of go in line with what the fair market value was at the time.
I get
So
what
that
you're
was
saying.
a tough nut to crack. Let me tell you, tough nut to crack. It did sell, so it's showing something about the market. I think we bottomed out. I don't know. Like, if you're wondering what would be the sign, I mean, that's a very, very strong sign. I mean, like, I don't know any other listing that went through such a journey from, I know other listing that takes quite a bit of time, 1-2 years, but this one 5 years. It's like, wow, my goodness. Anyway, moving on to our usual. Oh, wait a second, before we move on, let's talk about something quite substantial. And by that, I mean that the Supreme Court of Canada, regarding some of the land claims from First Nations, such as the Cowichan that we talked about in our podcast end of last year. So now, from the Global News, the Supreme Court of Canada refuses to appeal because Aboriginal title can't be declared over private land.
There you go.
There we go. It's moving. We knew it was not the end of the story. So the process is still ongoing, and we need to monitor the evolution of the situation. And that was posted on May 28th. So it's fresh for everybody, for all our viewers. So it's a good news. I'll say it as a good news. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's fantastic news. It takes away, because this is what we talked about when initially the Cowichan tribe judgment came through, because that came from a court in British Columbia, and now this is the Supreme Court of Canada, the highest law on the land. And they have made that distinction that the private property title. So in British Columbia we have torrent system. Now you cannot supersede it. So that whole question about what happens that Cowichan have title over it, and it put valuations and property so much in uncertainty and in limbo.
There's quite a bit of stake. Like it's the foundation of the property rights.
Exactly. So that this is the most practical thing they what they did. This was the most practical thing they could have done. It just, for them to, if that would have been upheld, that ruling from the Court of British Columbia, it would have undone every single personal property right throughout Canada. It would have been a horrible precedent to set.
So we are apparently not going in that direction, which is a good news.
Good.
For all
we still have sensible people
and people wanting to get a piece of real estate, and also for all the real estate industry professionals that we are. We're still going to fight for the rights that we believe are awarded to property owners. Very good. Okay. So now let's go to our traditional market stat. How is our market doing? We're going to start with the total inventory. So we're looking at the total inventory evolution for the past 20 years, adjusted on a 12-month average. And that is for all property types for Greater Vancouver. Okay. So as we already talked about in the last couple of months, we kind of like are reaching a ceiling glass, and we are kind of still there, and there's still a fair amount of inventory. To what extent some of that inventory has been absorbed by buyers, or buyers just remove their property altogether from the market because they don't think they're going to be able to sell at the price that they want. We don't have that piece of information. But when it comes down to the volume of sales, it's still very low. Colleagues and myself, we see market being busier. Okay. it doesn't necessarily reflect to the scale of the Greater Vancouver and all property types. So we're still very, very, very low. To what extent that is going to evolve in a, let's say, a growth, there is no certainty. So we'll keep monitoring the evolution. And how is the price evolving? So the price is trending lower. Price is trending lower. From this chart, it doesn't actually make it. It depends, because sometimes, I review so many stats from so many sources, and looking at this, it doesn't show the magnitude that it's being displayed in other news outlet or other organization, because for Vancouver, we usually say that we are pretty much 20% of the peak. From this MLS home price index, it doesn't show as much price reduction from the peak, but it's still trading lower. Okay. It's trading lower, not by much. And if you recall last month, now we also look at some other data, which is in our case the median price per square foot for resale condo in Vancouver. Okay, so before, so here we're looking at the HPI price index that englobes like all property types, Greater Vancouver. So now, median price per square foot for condo in Vancouver, and that's it. Okay, for resale. And last month we were at $1,000 a square foot, and we broke the $1,000 mark. We are now at 992.
Okay.
So 8% decline. No, not 8%. Sorry, 0.8% decline. So still kind of slow decrease. All right. Do you have any question? We're good?
Yeah. This is consistent with what I've seen, so I believe.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this chart, it's pretty much the same price as now March 2018. Okay.
Good.
And we'll monitor the evolution and inform of any update our viewers diligently. Very good. Piyush, what do you have for us in terms of
mortgages?
Yes.
Mortgages, mortgage world, everything is still holding steady. So I will show you if I can. I'm gonna start sharing my screen now.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
What's going on? There we go. All right. You want to turn off your screen sharing there?
Yeah, sure. Very good. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. So as you can see over here, this is the 5-year bond yield. This is the indicator in the marketplace. Oops. That best tells us what the what the fixed interest rates are doing, and this is very relevant to reacting to the real economy and real events happening in the world. So this is in the last month. We had a little bit of a dip towards the end of the month because there was supposedly another ceasefire, and they're going to restart negotiating to stop the Iran war for the next 60 days. And then they decided to attack each other over the weekend. So that went out the door. So that's why I said what I said, like things are holding steady, but rates are, compared to before this war, we're sitting at 30 bips higher.
Okay. So that's an important piece of information. So from prior to the start of the armed conflict in Iran, we are at 30 bips higher,
Yes.
which doesn't seem like much.
It's not, if you
Okay.
look at it from the point of, because here's the thing, and I'm glad you said that. It doesn't sound like much. And in reality, when you look at the numbers in terms of how much it will cost you, it's like $15 more
A month.
on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Okay.
Less than gas.
So that's the thing. So these are the other factors, right? And then I'll bring up inflation next. So this is the conversation that we have with clients. People get stuck on that number quite a bit. Oh, what's my interest rate? What's my interest rate? At the end of the day, you can mitigate whatever your interest, mitigate your interest rate by certain factors, like you can make additional payments. By you making additional lump sum payments on top of your regular mortgage payments, you reduce your balance owing, and over time you end up paying less interest because your principal has been reduced. Because how do you calculate interest? Interest equals IRT, right? So sorry, PRT.
I don't know why. What are you talking about? IRT. What is this?
The formula for interest. It's PRT, not IRT. PRT is principal. What is your outstanding principal times the rate of interest times multiplied by the amount of time that's left.
Okay, on the monthly basis or yearly basis?
On an annual basis.
Okay, on an annual basis. Okay.
So the less
PRT, principal, rate,
and time.
Okay.
So when you have a lower principal amount that's outstanding, no matter what the interest rate is, you will end up paying it off a lot quicker, and you end up paying less interest over time. So if you have the 4 point, so like right now, it's in the mid fours. Like a 3-year insured interest rate, it can be as high as 4.45.
Okay.
And
what about the 5-year insured?
That's it. That's for a 3-year. 5-year, and some of the lenders is actually a little bit higher. So it depends from lender to lender. This is on the high end. On the lower end, I've seen as low as 4.19.
Okay. So that's pretty much the range.
Yeah. So I'm just being conservative and giving it on there because it depends on a client's profile on where we need to go for a different lender. So if you go for a 4.45 and you're dreading that interest rate, you wish you had that 4.19, the best way for you to mitigate that is you start making lump sum payments on top of your monthly payments that you're going to be paying in the mortgage. And that's what ends up negating that 4.45 that becomes irrelevant. So that's where we say, you date the rate and you marry the home, because that interest rate is only for that specific term. So that's So the whole point of that was like these kind of things should not scare you, because this is, and it shouldn't stop you from getting in the market, because this will always fluctuate. This will always go up or down no matter what's happening in the world.
All right.
So this is the 3-month. This is 1 month, and I'll show you the last week. So these are the fluctuations. All right, now let's jump over to I will show you inflation. The Bank of Canada policy interest rate still remains the same, so 2.25, but the number that for us consumers, what we need to look at is the prime rate. Prime rate is 4.45. That has remained unchanged. There is a Bank of Canada meeting next week on June 10th. We will see what they do. There are other things that we also look at. Total CPI. Inflation rate 2.8. We're sitting at CPI trim is 2, and the median is 2.1. Now, what
Okay,
is
so
the
no, so let's that was a bit of like rapid fire numbers right there. So the prime rate, which is our like, tower,
if
like
you have a variable
in the
mortgage,
ocean.
if you have a variable mortgage, your rate of interest fluctuates with the prime rate.
Okay, so it's 4.45, which is pretty much in line with the 5-year insured. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Going back, if you can go back to the CPI. So for our viewers that are not as versed in economical behaviors and rates from the Central Bank of Canada, basically inflation is the enemy, and you want to keep that number, and that's where I'm getting at. You want to keep that number. I'm a bit confused because in Europe, they want to keep the number below 2%. How much is it in Canada?
Between 2 and 3.
Between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So right now it's considered acceptable at 2.8.
Yeah, it's considered under control.
Okay. So as simple mechanics for our viewers would be that if it goes above 3, then the Central Bank of Canada will increase the overnight rate.
Yes.
And if it goes low, then they will decrease the overnight rate. So right now, it's apparently under control. What do you expect for June 10th?
So we have entered in Canada into a technical recession. Okay. Before I jump into that, this is what the chart of the CPI.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a technical recession and a recession?
Technical recession is where you have GDP drop in three quarters in a row.
Is it 3 or 2?
Well, third.
It's 2.
Is it 2? Okay,
it's
I remember the one it's in the third one. Then you are in a recession. So maybe I don't know the difference.
Okay, so basically 2 quarters technical recession, third quarter recession.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm asking you. I mean, I find it interesting, like a technical recession or between what's the difference? Just to remind our viewers, so ultimately the definition of a recession is when GDP drops for 2 consecutive quarters, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Now here is that consumer price index, so CPI. As you can see, 2022 we were at its peak. This is with the whole chip shortage, COVID era, all that. Now, if I zoom forward and I look at, yeah,
it's been a jump.
There's
been a jump since February in the total CPI.
Yeah, in the total CPI, but then you see the median, it is coming down. So that spike, the total CPI, that's probably the spike related to that is most likely because of that war. Now I can't remember how long did it start in February?
Yeah.
It was February, March, something like that.
Usually February is a kind of a deadly month the past 6 years. February 2020, COVID. February 2022,
Ukraine.
War, Ukraine. So February, don't plan too much.
Oh my
for
God.
next year.
Yeah.
So this year,
exactly. Hey, I mean, gas price was cheap last night. I don't know if anybody was out there filled it up. I saw one night if you're watching anywhere besides British Columbia, it was cheap for us when it was $1.99 a liter. I was at an event last night, and there were these guys from Alberta. I'm like, "Oh, what's your gas price there?" Yeah, it's kind of high, like $1.60.
If I recall correctly, Vancouver is a city in North America where gas is the most expensive.
Yeah, because we have 60 cents in taxes per liter in taxes. Yeah.
Welcome to Vancouver.
Yeah.
BC. What BC stands for, Piyush?
Bring cash.
Bring cash.
So we had those inflation rate. As we see the over the CPI medium is coming down, but the total CPI has increased, and the reason for that it has been consistently because of the gas prices, the increase in transportation. Next page that I'm showing.
Let's wait a second, because gas prices, inflation, interest rate, all that is correlated.
Mhm.
Okay. So for a couple of months now, we're saying, all right, gas prices, if they kind of like over somewhere around, $100 a barrel, there's going to be some kind of inflation, and to control the inflation, you increase the interest rate, which ultimately is going to remove some purchase power from buyers.
Mhm.
Okay. Right now, the barrel is at $90, and it has been kind of like below $100 for kind of a couple of weeks now. $90 is not great, but it's not dramatic. And the CPI, so Consumer Price Index inflation rate, is at 2.8, which ultimately should leave the main interest rate where it's at.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If we are in a technical recession and you have all these other things that are going on, I can't see the Bank of Canada increasing, because if they increase it, it might push us into a bit more of a in an actual recession in the third quarter, in the next quarter. So unless they want to do that, I don't see it happening.
All right.
Next Bank of Canada meeting is Wednesday, June 10th.
Okay.
So it's coming up in 5 days. Let's see what they do.
I bet they're going to hold steady.
I think so. They're just playing it safe. Kuzma, because there's a bunch of things that are outstanding. Kuzma negotiations are ongoing. So that's the
So for our
Canada,
viewers,
US,
can you explain
Mexico.
what is Kuzma?
There's the Canada, USA, Mexico trade agreement. It is the old NAFTA agreement, essentially the same thing, just under a new name. And the countries it's coming up for renewal. Canada is saying that they would like to renew, but I think the United States wants to renegotiate certain aspects of the deal. I saw something about them asking Canada to tighten up our labor laws. So I guess not our labor laws per se, but from any countries that we import, making sure that they're not using forced labor. So Canada out of the US and Mexico has probably better labor laws. So it's funny to me to hear from the Americans, considering what they pay their people, their minimum wages compared to our minimum wages up here. Because BC just increases minimum wage, I think it's like $18.25 now or something like that. It just went up. Let me just look that up. Yeah, $18.25. So as of June 1st, minimum wage in British Columbia is $18.25.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Exactly. So the point was that we in Canada in general have better labor laws, labor protection for the employees compared to the United States. That's why in the US, when you see a lot of these workplace injury lawsuits, they go, in the millions and millions. We don't see that here in Canada because you have multitude of factors that protect and stop it from getting to that point. You have workplace safety training. We have medical benefits, universal medical benefits. So
yes, So pretty good. All right. Very good. Anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah. What are you waiting for? Go out there and start shopping for your dream home.
It's
It's
there's
the best
definitely
time of the year to
inventory.
do it.
There's definitely but there are some active buyers out there, and markets is you know, from what I've seen, it's moving.
Yeah.
It's moving. So I think we are not so. I think the market, you know, at some point, the sales volume are going to increase. I don't know about the prices, to what extent they're going to evolve, but the for the sales volume, there it seems to be only one way, and it's up.
Yeah.
It's up, one way or
It is,
another.
and then having met up with a bunch of people at an event last night, and it's consistent. All for so many first-time home buyers.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, and I'll add to this, and this is another gentleman. He's been a broker for more than 20 plus years, and he said in the last few years he hasn't done many insured deals, so he forgot how to do them.
oh yeah,
And this guy's a top broker. I'm like, what? He's like, because it's the market's not been there. It's never it hasn't been a buyer's market in ages. So we not too many people would qualify for less than 20% down in Vancouver to buy a home.
mm-hmm.
A condo, forget a detached, a condo. So now the buyers are back. It is so much in their favor, and those people are making moves. There a lot of people are now able to actually stop being renters, and they can actually buy their home, even though that the rent price is dropping. It's dropped significantly.
Yes. And I see it, you know, doing some math with first-time home buyer compared to what's the price of a one-bedroom in Vancouver, and what is the price of owning, or you know, the monthly payments between your mortgage, maintenance fee, tax, property insurance. There is a premium, but the gap is not dramatic. It's maybe, taking everything into consideration, it's maybe a premium of about, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, but 10, like on a monthly payment basis, it's 10 to 15% to be an owner. So coming with the saving is the hard part.
Yeah,
In
and
Vancouver.
then that's right. And the benefit of the ownership is that you're building equity.
Oh, for sure. And we now kind of extend the conversation a little bit, but then Canada has a very specific feature to being a real estate owner, property owner, is that then you can tap into your equity.
Mhm.
And it's not the case for all countries out there, right? So to be explicit, if you buy a home for $1 million, and going back to the math that you had earlier about principal, so basically principal and equity is the same thing, right?
Mhm.
So here in Canada, when you, let's say you buy a home, you bought a home.
No. So principal is the mortgage amount that you owe. Equity is the remainder.
Exactly. So let's dive into this a little bit. So what happened in Canada is that if you buy a place, let's say 20 years ago for 500,000, okay, and you get a mortgage for 400,000, now your principal is that the remainder that you need to pay, okay, let's say it's 100,000.
No. So principal would be the 400,000. Your
No, because you
equity is
paid it over time.
100,000.
You paid it over time. You bought the property 20 years ago, and
Yes.
over time you paid some of that principal back, right?
Correct.
Okay. So now you still have $100,000 that you need to pay towards your lender. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the property price growth from when you bought it 20 years ago, now that 500,000, it's safe to say that it's $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, minimum. So now your asset is million minus 100,000 that you owe to the bank, so 900,000. And here in Canada, you can go to the bank and do what's called the equity line of credit, which is take money from this 900,000, not all of it, but a significant amount. You can take 500,000, okay, and then you can invest with it. And that is such a privilege to be able to leverage your asset that way. And basically, being a real estate owner in Canada allows you to do such move over time. So it makes a big difference, in the long term, in the long vision of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though prices are high, interest rates are not as appealing as what it could have been, real estate is not easy. It involves sacrifices, but at the end of the day, be in it for the long game. And real estate, when you look back, you don't lose.
Yeah.
Simple. Very good.
Unless you're the guy who bought the condo for $7.25 million back in 2021, you lose $2.2 million.
Well, but the thing is, this guy, actually, you want a fun fact? Okay, let's look into. I can tell you that much. I will tell you how much you bought it for, and when. Okay.
So that was a listing price. He tried to sell it for 7.25.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that guy. Okay. He bought that property in 2001. 2003. Okay, for 1.5 million.
Okay. He still walked away with money.
That's what I'm saying. In the long term,
And that's why Julian will tell you it is so important when you're selling to be realistic and price your home properly so you can avoid such losses. Because I'm sure if you were his realtor back in 2021, you would have advised him to price that thing. If anything, he should have priced it a little bit lower to get multiple offers, because that's what was happening in 2021. You don't price it high. That was for 2021 where multiple offers happened. In 2026, if you're a seller, you need to be pricing it right, because you know what? If it's even slightly above, people will look past it.
I know. And thank you for being the advocate, because if I say it myself, I'm the agent, I'm lying to, I don't know what people are thinking. I say things for the benefit of my clients. If I say to list at a certain price, it's for their benefit to make as much money as possible. And, but it's not, the psychology around real estate and being involved, either you are a buyer, seller, buyer's agent, seller's agent, or mortgage broker, is so much involved. And it can be quite a bit to manage at the end of the day. But particularly in Vancouver, the market is volatile. And talking about that, we'll end that call. Actually mentioning the financial market that are volatile today. The S&P is diving 2.13% right now. So happy Friday.
Let's see what that SpaceX IPO does.
Let's see. Very good. Piyush, have a good weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.